Hey everyone, this is Amanda from Wayward and Whimsical Creations, and today I am going to show you how to weave Persephone. Persephone has long been one of my favorite weaves. It's very versatile. It can be used to create bracelets. You can weave it in the round to create pendants. You can also make individual units and mirror them to make earrings. So today I am going to show you how to make it. Persephone is best made with rings that have an AR or aspect ratio of 4 to 4.5. For this tutorial, I am going to be using 16 standard wire gauge 1/4 jump rings or 1/4 inch jump rings, which is what this example is made of. Let's get into it. To start, we're just going to take 3 of our 1/4 inch jump rings and we're going to close them. And we're going to take a 4th jump ring, open it, and then we are going to place those 3 closed onto our open ring and close it up. And then we're going to add 1 more ring to the 3 closed. So what you end up with is a little unit that has 3 rings on the left and 2 rings on the right. Now, when you're making the individual units, you can have a left-leaning unit or a right-leaning unit. And to make a left-leaning unit or a right-leaning unit, it all depends on the orientation of these 3 rings on the left. If the rings are facing down, you're going to have a left-leaning unit. If the rings are facing up, you're going to have a right-leaning unit. I really like doing right and left leaning units for earrings because they're perfectly mirrored. So I'm very happy that they're symmetrical. So for this first unit, we're going to make a left leaning one. So the 3 rings on the left are facing down. We're going to open another jump ring. And then coming in from the back of the weave, the bottom left and bottom right rings overlap and it creates an eye. So we're coming in from the back and going through the eye, twisting up, going over the top of this right jump ring, and then out through the eye that the top left and top right rings create. And we're not even touching this little wing over here, okay? The center ring just sits next to it. It does not pick up this ring. And then we close that up. And it should look like this. Now we need to add a ring to our right side. So we're going to turn our unit to the side. We're going to open up these 2 top rings, and we're picking up the 2 rings underneath. So our next wing is going to go in between the 2 top and picking up the 2 rings that are hidden underneath it. Like so. Then we go to the top. Again, we're going to open these 2 rings up, and the ring that's hidden underneath is the one that we're picking up. So the top wing goes in between the top 2 rings and picks up the one hidden underneath. Flip it over to the bottom, same thing. We're going to open these 2 rings up and we're picking up that ring underneath. The 1/4 inch can be a bit of a tight squeeze, but it will eventually work. Close it up. And there we have one singular unit of Persephone. Now I'm going to show you how to do a right leaning so that we have a mirrored pair. So again, we're going to start out by closing 3 jump rings. And then to those 3 jump rings, we're going to add 2. So there's 1. And 2. And then you need to rearrange them so you have 3 on the left and 2 on the right. Ooh, excuse me. Now when we made the left leaning, these 3 on the right were facing down. So to make a right leaning, we're going to reorientate it so that those rings are facing up. But we're going to weave our center ring the same way. We're coming in from the back, going through the eye that's created by the bottom left and right rings, twisting up, going over the top of this bottom ring, skipping this center wing, and then going out through the eye created by the top left and right rings. And close that ring up. Now we turn our unit to the right. We're spreading apart these 2 top rings and we're picking up the 2 rings that are hidden underneath. Just like this. Going to the top. Our open ring is going to sit in between the top rings and picking up the ring that's underneath. And then flipping it over and doing the same to the other side. So going in between those top rings and picking up the one that is hidden underneath. And close it up. So now we have a right and left leaning that are perfectly mirrored, and these make for great earrings. I love using these for earrings. Now, you can also make these look a little more square shaped if you don't like how long they are. What you can do is swap out the top and bottom wings for an 18 gauge 3/16 ring, and I will show you what that looks like. So there's our first wing, second wing, so then what you end up with is a unit that's a little more square shaped. And you can make a bunch of these and then string them together however you want to create necklaces, bracelets. If you want to weave the units into themselves, I will show you how to do that as well. So let's say you want to make a bracelet like this where each unit is woven into the one next to it. So to do that, you're going to start with just making either a right leaning or left leaning unit, whichever you prefer. This is a right leaning unit, so we're going to continue making right leaning units. So again, I am going to close 3 rings. To those 3, I'm going to add 2. So there's 1. Oh, excuse me. There's 2. So remember, we're doing right leaning, so the 3 rings on the left need to be facing up. Coming in from the back of the weave, going through the eye of the bottom right and left, twisting up and over, and then out the eye through the top right and left rings. Close it up. And remember, this center ring does not pick up this middle ring here, your left-sided wing. Now we're going to add our right-sided wing. Remember, going in between the 2 that sit on top and picking up the 2 that are underneath. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our previous unit. I'm going to open this, and then I'm going to thread it where our bottom wing would go. So in between these 2 that sit on top and picking up that ring underneath. And then closing that up. And then to continue the chain on, I'm going to weave our top wing in between the 2 on top and picking up that one underneath. And then I'm going to leave the spring open, so when I make my next unit, I can just add it right away without having to reopen this ring. And then you just continue doing that until you get the length that you want for a necklace, a bracelet, whatever you want. And that is how you weave Persephone. You can also weave Persephone in the round, so you could make, what is this one? This one was 7 units long, and then I just wove the wings into each other in a circle to create a pendant. So yeah, like I said, Persephone is a very versatile weave. It's lots of fun to play with and see what sort of different configurations you can come up with. If you all have any more questions about this weave, or if there is another weave that you would like me to make a tutorial for, drop it in the comments and let me know. Otherwise, good luck and happy weaving.